All the hero cards finally released for Fractured and Alterac Valley. I thought it'd be really fun to look at all the hero cards and kind of predict how good they will be in terms of a tier list. So if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you subscribe to this channel. A lot of awesome Hearthstone content will be posted here, except for Mercenaries. That'll be on the main channel. Let's get to this. You look fantastic.
I'm a doctor.
This is the tier list for the hero cards. We got S, A, B, C, and trash. Trash means they're probably not going to see play. S means they're so good they probably deserve a nerf. Also, to help me here, I do have the actual Play Hearthstone site to verify what the hero cards actually do. And we're going to start off with Kurtrus because he is the very first one. Kurtrus is the Demon Hunter hero, 6 mana, 5 armor gained. Battlecry summon 2 1/4 demons with rush, which are improved by your hero power this game. So if you hero power 3 times, they become 4/4s, which is not that bad. Your hero power also becomes Ashfallen's Fury, which is 1 mana still, +2 attack this turn. After a friendly minion attacks, you refresh this, which works with the rush minions that are coming out of Kurtrus immediately. So technically on 9 mana, you can get 3 hero powers off, which is pretty decent. And this is what the 1/4s look like straight up. Now, I actually think that Kurtrus is pretty great overall. One of the easy ones to just fit in, and it fits basically for an archetype that actually needed a lot of support, which is Token Demon Hunter. Also just generally good. You're not really sad about gaining extra attack or summoning a 1/4 gaining 5 armor. It just seems like a pretty generally good hero power overall, just hero card overall. So I think for just easy pickings, I think right now Kurtrus is a B tier. We might move Kurtrus over depending, but I do think Kurtrus is quite good in almost every single Demon Hunter deck, which is exactly what you want. Next on the list, we have Beast Stalker Tavish. Tavish is a 6 mana hero card as well. Battlecry discover and cast 2 improved secrets. It's also gained 5 armor. Now, your hero power gets really weird here because it becomes Summon Pet, which is randomly summoning one of the animal companions. You don't even get to pick, which is super weird. And then basically the improved secrets are improves explosive trap, so it deals 3 instead of 2. Improve freezing, so it returns the minion to their hand for 4 rather than 2, or 4 more, I should say. Improve snake trap, which is instead of 1/1s, you get 2/2s. Open the cages, you get 2 animal companions. Improved ice trap. Your spell that your opponent casts does not work and it's returned to their hand for 2 more mana. Improve Pack Tactics, which basically summons a friendly minion twice as a 3/3. And that's pretty freaking sick, I will say so myself. Now, I think overall, the problem with Beast Stalker Tavish is that on average, you probably want the Hunter hero power more. And generally speaking, value hunters don't actually work. And Hunter got a lot of really whack cards this expansion. They wanted to promote some kind of big hunter, which maybe Tavish can help support that. But generally speaking, Tavish is probably not going to do anything that important. I think generally speaking, you probably want the Hunter hero power more. I think summon a random animal companion is not going to be good enough in later states of the game. There's just better ways of doing value, I think, for Hunter. And losing the hero power is kind of sad. You want to do probably 2 damage to the opponent's face, quite actually, you know, a lot more of the time than summoning a random animal companion. So for me, Beast Stalker Tavish is like the lowest of C, almost to trash, but I think he's C at the moment. I don't think inherently he's that bad, but like, I don't know. I just think that it's just not as good as I was hoping for Tavish at all. But I don't think Tavish is the worst one. Speaking of what one I think is the worst is Magister Dawn Grasp. Now, this is 8 mana to Battlecry recast a spell from each spell school you've cast this game, and your hero power becomes Arcane Burst, which is 2 mana, deal 1 damage. So your hero power is not getting an upgrade immediately. And then you need to get, if you get an honorable kill, I should say, your hero power gets +2 damage. And this can continue to stack. So like next turn, it'll do 3 damage. And if you get the honorable kill, go to 5 and so on and so forth. But here is the problem. This card requires a lot of setup. One thing I really like about Beast Stalker Tavish or Kurtrus, just for the 2 heroes we looked at already, there's no setup for it. It's just a good card once you draw it. And generally speaking, that is way better than a card that requires a bunch of setup. Because if you get this card first before all your really good spells, this feels awful. if you put this into a deck that's like running Incanter's Flow and low cost spells, you might as well just run a better mage deck like Quest Mage. So I can't even imagine a world where this is going to see play. And I honestly think this is the worst mage, or the worst hero card by far. And I'm putting it in trash. I think it needs a buff. I don't think it's going to see play. Maybe in a metagame where it's extremely slow, this card's good. But like, I don't understand how they think this card's going to see any play, if I'm just being honest, which kind of sucks because, you know, you would want all your hero cards to be quite great. Next on the list, we have Recaro the Valerius. I think that's how you say it. 7 mana, gain 5 armor, and you get to equip the Unstoppable Force, which the Unstoppable Force is a 7 mana 5/2 weapon. After you attack a minion, smash it into the enemy hero, which virtually means it just does the damage to your opponent's face. Your hero power also becomes quite good. Deal 2 damage is just the hunter hero power generally, and if you get an honorable kill, you get 4 armor. So you can actually use this as just damage going face, or kill a specific minion and gain armor back. You do lose the ability to just gain armor, but like having that weird hero power to work in both an offensive and defensive way is quite great. I honestly think Recaro is one of the better ones. And the nice thing about Recaro, like I was just talking about, is it requires no setup. It's just a good thing to have. Like, it's just good. Once you draw it, you're probably okay with playing it. And because you get the Unstoppable Force, you could probably kill something with it. I'm generally pretty happy with this. I think Recaro is a B. I don't know if it's better than Kurtrus. I think Kurtrus, because it enables an archetype as well, is probably better. But I do think that Recaro does have a lot of potential. So yeah, let's move Recaro up to the B, just below Kurtrus. I do think she's cool and doesn't require any setup, like I said. So huge fan of that. Next on the list, we have Zyrella the Devout. 8 mana, Battle Cry, triggered the death rattle of every friendly minion that died this game. It is also giving you 5 life. Now, I think the worst part about this hero card is actually the Battle Cry. Same idea with Mage. Just takes too long to set up, especially because the death rattles take a long period of time. You also have that awkward situation where sometimes you're just going to draw this card before you get your death rattles off, and then you have to wait for the death rattles to trigger in order for this card to see play. But I will say this card is just really good because of the hero power you get. It starts off as Holy Touch, which is hero power, restore 5 life. And then the next turn, it flips over to Void Spike, which is deal 5 damage. Dealing 5 damage is quite a lot of damage, which is why I think this hero card is not as bad as Magister Dawn's Grasp. And maybe in a slower metagame, and it doesn't need to be as slow for Magister, I think, to not be that great. It probably rises up a little bit. So I am kind of a bigger fan of this. I do think it's better than Magister. So Zyrella, I'm putting probably around here. They're probably about the equivalent with Tavish. Tavish might be moved up here, but at the moment, I think that this is completely fine. And next on the list is Brewcon of the Elements. This has a lot going for it, so I will try my best to explain this as fast as possible while being concise and great. 8 mana, Brewcon of the Elements. Battlecry, call upon the power of 2 elements. You also get 5 armor. So this card is the same idea as Kurtrus, Recaro. No setup required for this. This is just a pretty good hero card because what this does is it lets you pick between 4 of the elemental masteries, right? You get to pick between, oh my God, this is so weird the way they did it. The Fire Invocation, the Water Invocation, which restores 6 health. The Fire does 6 damage to the enemy hero. The Lightning does 2 damage to all enemy minions. And then the Earth Invocation summons 2/3 elementals with taunt and swaps each turn, which is really, really good. So basically you get to pick between 4, you pick 1, and then you get to pick from the remaining 3. And then your hero power becomes basically one of those every single turn at random, but it just can't be the one from the previous turn. Now, again, really good in value, really, really good overall. And I think you're just going to play this card for straight up the better hero power that it gives you. You'd rather do this than summon totems. And this could be just winning you the game against a really good aggro deck. You just play like Earth Invocation and Lightning Invocation, clear the board, some taunts. Sometimes you just want some life back, or maybe you are in lethal range, so you just do this. So versatile, and yet not actually hard to really run in almost every single deck. You're pretty happy with all of it. So because of that, Brewcon, the elements, is probably the highest of B's or the lowest of A's. Kurtrus might be moved up here. It might be more like this. Don't worry, we're going to continue moving this on as I do this. But I really think Brewcon is quite good. Maybe it's like this. I'm not sure. I'm happy with either one. I think Brewcon is just quite strong overall. Next on the list, we have Shadowcrafter Scabs. 7 mana, hero card for Rogue, obviously. Battlecry, return all minions to their owner's hands. Summon 2 4/2 shadows with stealth. This is quite the Battlecry. Returning all minions to their owner's hand is Vanish. You guys remember that card. But your hero power also becomes the next card you play cost 2 less for 0 mana. So you can no longer summon a dagger, but you're almost guaranteed to get some kind of mana cheat, which is really good. And a combo activator in a sense, because the first card you play will activate some other combo potentially. You also get Shadows, which is the shadows coming off this. So you get a pretty decent stat line for just wiping the board in a sense. I actually think Scabs is pretty good, pretty easy to fit into a lot of decks. Now, this is not good for like an aggro deck. This is good for like a combo-ish type deck, maybe some kind of Garrot rogue. But mana cheat usually always finds a way. So I'm pretty confident to say that Scabs is probably B tier. I don't know if Recaro is necessarily better, but somewhere around there. I think they're both pretty great overall. But that leaves us with arguably the weirdest 3 out of all of them, which we're going to start off with Tenzin. Now, Tenzin's really cool because the thing about Tenzin is that she just fits so well into already a great deck, which is the Handlock quest version, right? Very easy to do. 6 mana, Battlecry, deal 3 damage to all minions, shuffle 3 Rifts into your deck. We'll see what Rifts are shortly, and draw 3 cards and gain 5 armor. Just so you're aware, Rifts are literally just summoning a 3/3 dude when this is drawn. So for 6 mana, just remember this, you're dealing 3 damage to all minions, which is generally pretty good. You're shuffling 9/9 worth of stats into your deck, and you're drawing 3 cards. And your hero power becomes Chains of Dread. 2 mana, shuffle a Rift into your deck and draw cards. So not only are you summoning or shuffling another 3/3 into your deck, but you're drawing a card with no downside of hurting yourself. That's a pretty good card right there. Now, the only downside to this card, realistically, is that you cannot hurt yourself with your hero power anymore, which might be relevant maybe for Flesh Giants or just reducing or doing more damage for your quest. But who cares when your hero power, like this is such a good card. I would be baffled if people don't at least put this in A, but I'm pretty sure this is an S tier character. I am pretty confident this is an S tier character. Because she's so good, I'm going to move Kurtrus back down. But she is very strong, and I'm a little scared of how good that Warlock card is, because it doesn't really matter the archetype you're in. You're pretty happy with just playing that card overall. But next on the list, we have Wild Heart Guff. 5 mana, Battlecry, set your maximum mana to 20. It's very important that you don't get 20 mana. It's just set your maximum to 20. Gaining Mana Crystal and draw a card. That's pretty good. The Mana Crystal, by the way, is not empty, so you do get an extra mana immediately. Your hero power becomes Nurture. Choose 1, draw a card, or gain a Mana Crystal. Again, you get that mana immediately, so that's pretty good. And then, yeah, this is basically what those two look like. Now, the problem with Guff is that Guff is kind of whatever in the sense when you play him, obviously your mana will keep growing and you'll keep getting higher and higher cool turns, and you could do some sick combos with it. And the one thing about Guff is that Guff really likes ramping. We all have Overgrowth, we have Wild Growth, there's Nourish. There's a lot of ways to use this potential hero card for 20 mana quite realistically. Now, is this going to be good enough to defend yourself against an OTK deck? No. Is this going to be good enough to really do anything better than what Druid's doing right now? I don't think so. Like, I don't think Druid's biggest issue is spending that much mana. Like, I don't even know if you can spend that much mana. There's probably going to be some wacky turns. But I'm not really optimistic on Guff at the moment. I think Guff is cool, but I don't think he's one of the better ones. I think he's probably around C. Some are probably around here. This just seems to be more of an applicable spot because, I don't know, Guff is cool, but it's not like it's going to be shaking up the meta too much. And the meta game's already really fast, so it's hard to imagine a world where Guff is just going to get 20 mana always and do some really spicy stuff. Now, the last and most important one here, in my opinion, is Lifeforge Carrier. Lifeforge Carrier is 7 mana, battlecry, deal 2 damage to all enemies, and equip a 2/5 immovable object. So the opposite of an unstoppable force is an immovable object. But before we get to that, we'll talk about the hero power, which is just give a random minion in your hand +4/+4. Pretty great overall. Like it a lot. Does what you need to do. It's better than probably summoning a 1/1 dude every single turn. But the immovable object, which is arguably like the greatest thing for this game at the moment, this doesn't lose durability. Your hero takes half damage rounded up. So in other words, if you're taking 7 damage, you're actually taking 4 because it rounds up. If you're taking 10, you're taking 5. If you're taking 11, you're taking 6. It's really good to just deny combo decks. The one problem with this card is that it could be oozed, or it could be vipered, or whatever the tradable new tech is, which unfortunately for us really makes me sad, because if you're going against the combo deck, you're playing against 2 things here. You're playing against you drawing this card, but on top of this, you're also banking on the fact that they don't have a Viper, because if they have a Viper, you're just really, really sad. But I think Cariel has the real potential to be good, and I'm hoping she will be, and I'm putting Lifeforge Cariel actually probably in A. I think if I had to make any adjustments, Kurtrus might go to an A. It's really close, but I think overall, maybe like this actually. This seems to be pretty good. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. This was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the standard content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.